snozzingly. My name is Little Dylan. First name Little, last name Dylan. I love your cool and awesome videos, but I've been having a blue Christmas without you. I miss your base content. You're a Chad. It was awesome when you said, "What's up, guys? How's it going?" in your videos. It always made me feel like I was a part of something, like you were talking to me. Please, if you have it in your heart, I just want to watch your videos again. Sincerely, Little.
Where did that come from?
Ah, the return. What's up, guys? It's Snozzingly, and if I may throw in my 2 cents, this year has certainly not been up for me. Because, spoiler, this year fucking sucked. Compulsory profane reaction. This year was so horrendous, it makes 2021 look absolutely splendid. In fact, this year, in fact, yanks 2021 by the nads, scalps it, donates its shoes to Goodwill, traffics it on Craigslist, and pops a bottle of champagne standing on the corpse of what I once considered to be the worst year of my life. Because if that doesn't paint the picture of just how spectacularly miserable 2025 was for me, I don't know what will, but I can try to explain it. There was once a country. It was a quaint country full of quaint people. This country, it had its problems like many others, but it tried its best. A nation of power, one of fortitude, and one of liberty. Everything was yippy-dippy. Everything was poppin' schmoppin'. And well, that was until a certain year. A year burned into the memories of the people of the fair nation. The year of our Lord, 2016 years after the death of Christ, upon which came a race for the new leader of the fine nation. 2 options, one of which being kind of lame, and the other was Satan himself. The lame one should have won due to the popular vote, but because of the nobles in charge, 3 provinces were swayed to the dark side. The nation suffered many a problem as a result, but luckily someone not nearly as bad but still pretty disappointing would replace him. These years would be troublesome, yes, but the nation healed. Until the holy year, the year of the great tree, when a new race came. It was a strange anomaly. Diarrhea! Diarrhea everywhere. The people consumed it, promoted it, almost like it was a virus. Diarrhea enveloped the nation, and when the citizens with normal sensibilities opposed it, the consumers of the diarrhea would throw it at their face. Diarrhea spread so far and wide that eventually it manifested itself as the new leader. An old face in those parts, an unwelcome one. I'm talking about fucking Donald Trump. Now wait. Before you call me a dumbass liberal snowflake, please hear me out. He puts ketchup on his fucking steak! For the record, I'm not a political channel, nor am I gonna be one, nor do I intend to ever be one. But Jesus Christ, I cannot believe for the life of me how inept that guy's supporters are to not only see how much objective bad has come from this administration, but to openly advocate for it. Like, dog... And I know there is probably already a moderate amount of people I've lost from just saying that alone, so if you are one of those guys, I just want to quickly make a suggestion to please go study for your GED exam. I get it, man. You want to watch cool snozzingly YouTube videos like this, but hey, that stuff's important, and you probably shouldn't delay your studying for that. So, hey, go study. Go on. Do your homework. Here, I'll even give you a hint. The capital of Oman is Muscat. Anyways, between the clear denial and rejection of any climate-related matters, the open hostility to our own allies, the economy, this is a receipt for groceries I got. Look at the items. That should not be that much. And especially the stance on immigration, the fucking ICE raids, the Epstein files, the defunding of the education system, the disfunding and subsequent proposed selling of the protected nature and wildlife reserves, the investment to harmful AI, the tariffs, the wasteful spending of tax dollars, the Medicaid and Medicare cuts, the bombing of Iran, the racial profiling, alligator Alcatraz, the Epstein files, the bigotry, the Epstein files, the contradiction of one's own statements, the laziness, the Epstein files, and the Epstein files. I cannot believe just how bad all of this has become. Like, these are all objectively bad. And it bugs me to hell and back how absolutely devoted all of his followers are to those endeavors. To such an extreme where they overlook the most basic pieces of common sense, real facts, and real logic, and goddamn, they still have the gall to claim that they're all about the facts and logic. You know, when that they're so tough, red-blooded Americans with the thickest skin, and for some reason, we're the ones that are acting crazy when they be letting shit like this fly. I don't know, man, but I just cannot see their logic in any of that. Like, they lack such a large amount of critical think. It's insane. So when things like that are prevalent to such an extent, obviously it's gonna make one feel like absolute shit. Especially when it's every single goddamn day there is something new with this fucking tangerine asshole in office. I think there's something to be said when looking at this. The complete lack of accountability, common sense, logic, and objectivity is astounding. Profound mental intelligence. And I apologize for going on that big political rant right there. I could get into the details of what's all going on in the political sphere because I've researched and studied it for so long, but that's a whole ocean's worth of content that I don't really want to get my dumbass little year review into, so I'm gonna switch over and course correct into my next reason why this year is so shitty, so whoop-a-doo. As I'm sure you don't know, I graduated high school this year. That's right. I'm taking my big steps into becoming a true citizen, an entrepreneur with ideas and productivity out the wazoo, someone who's savvy with a multitude of different skills, climbing the ladder of business and building a bright future. I've been stuck in my house all year and slowly losing the only skills I had, without a job, without the ability to drive, watching the world and all my peers move forward with their lives while I stay stuck in my shitty apartment, all because of a medical issue that's taken up so much of my time and patience. Yeah, so another reason as to why this year has sucked is because I was gifted just the most bullshit medical problem I could have imagined, and I still, to this day, don't even know what it is. Because the appointment I had already scheduled and prepared for months got delayed by yet another several months. So, I don't really want to explain the details, because that's like personal, and that's like my medical history, which you don't need to be knowing. Don't try to learn other people's medical histories. That's pretty rude. Don't do that. But all you really need to know is that it's extremely annoying and takes up a lot of my time. But hey, as a result, at least I got this bidet attachment now, and good God has it changed my life. So with that being said, that does bring us to our sponsor. So there's that issue, which again, I cannot emphasize enough, has taken up just such a huge portion of my time. It's practically drained me of my energy and motivation, which again leads me to my next point. I'm pretty smooth with these transitions here, but all that being said, I fucking hate art block. Because when you're as unemployed as I am, there's only so many good things you can do for entertainment. So for me, that used to be making art and music, but good God, those might as well be chopped liver because I, for some reason, just lost my ability to make art. At least good art. To be fair to 2025, I have had art block before it started, but to be unfair to 2025 again, this year is when it got real bad. Same thing with my music too. The way I used to make songs used to be melody first, everything else later, and that's just kind of completely changed. I often find myself not having ideas for songs anymore, and my fuck-ass headset doesn't really help either. I be fucking scrolling the volume slider up and it goes down. And in response, you might think, scroll it down, it goes up. But no, I try that too, and in response, it still doesn't come back up. So I have to keep turning it up, off and on again until I get like a good seed or something where turning the volume up actually makes it goes up. But I digress. I felt those were the only two skills I had that actually made something of myself a bit. I mean, I'm pretty good with graphing, analysis, and introspection, but I suppose, but man, art and music were the things I was the most prideful of, you know? Now it's time for the heavy part of the video. Back to the script. Losing those in a way made me feel like I lost myself, and it all culminated in the cancellation of both Masked Seal and Sikoria. Sorry you had to hear it, but yeah, that is true. I did kind of cancel those, but anyway, those were my two games that I was working on for years by this point, and I'm sorry to all those looking forward to those games that I have canceled them, but I just couldn't really do it anymore. I essentially lost the only two skills that I had that were keeping those projects afloat, and adding on to that was the fact that I was pretty much entirely solo in those projects, and they were pretty big projects too. There was no realistic way those games would ever going to be made, especially by myself. I don't know how to code, I don't know how to script, work with nodes, or etc. I'm not the best writer, so the stories were either non-existent in Masked Seal's case or underwhelming in Sikoria's case. Coupled with the fact that with this administration, again, sorry to be on this tangent again, the chances of me or anyone else fulfilling their dreams or having a meaningful career, especially so early on, like, I'm 18, you know, I'm trying to just build my career early, but regardless, hobbies and stuff, they just become increasingly more unlikely. Again, especially with people in my age range. I mean, I poured my heart and soul into my creative works, and for such a low turnout too, because nobody really did care for my projects in such a way, but I didn't really mind that part because I was still creating, you know, like I was still keeping my mind active, but the art block has just it's just felt way more permanent, and it feels like I've lost a big part of myself. And the reason I've just sounded more retrospective is because, like, it has felt more permanent now. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it just is. But all is to say, sorry guys, I didn't get the bag. When you deal with such prominent limitations paired with the loss of some core elements of yourself, it's no wonder 2025 was the way it was. And after all those pretty big things happening, I mean, there's nothing you can really say except when the hell it's all gonna stop. When the hell are you gonna get a break? But even after all of it, we still aren't done. There were minor inconveniences that happened pretty much every 30 seconds of every single day, which is very irritating, like lots and lots of canceled plans, vacations, and trips, the looming anxiety of college tuition, my perception of time getting messed up. I mean, 3 hours feels like 1, and 1 feels like 20 minutes. My sleep schedule for the back half of senior year was all fucked up. There were tons of arguments I had with many people, and at the end of it all, one of my family members got fucking cancer. It's almost comical how much of a fucking train wreck mess of a year this was. Like I said earlier, I have zero problems calling this the new worst year of my life. Just look at this calendar. I mean, what can you really say? January sucked, February super sucked, March sucked, April sucked, May sucked, but hey, at least my birthday weekend, which I swear to God was like the only good part of this year, was there. June was mediocre, but it was absolutely carried by the last few days of school ever, because graduation, my grad party. July hits me hard because it's my favorite month, you know? it had so many chances to turn things around, yet forces beyond my power, I guess, fumbled every single one, which you'll soon be seeing the results of because it made the back half of this year somehow worse. August was when the medical problem was really starting to get fucking unbearable. It really, really sucked. September. Oh my god, September was the absolute, long and by far, worst month of the year. It had every single problem amped up to 11. And that was not intentionally a 9/11 joke. That was just really good sentence structure, actually. Luckily, the end of September is when the bidet arrived, and that made my life way easier, but still, I have a crash out to finish. October fucking sucked, too. November sucked, but thank the Lord it wasn't as soul-crushingly terrible as the previous 3 months, and December, at least when I'm writing this, also sucks, but so far it's not nearly as bad as the others. I'm actually, I'm going off script here when I'm recording this. I'm recording this on January 4th, 2026. Sorry, guys, but yeah, December was not as terrible as the other ones that came before it, but back to the script. So now if I were to rank the months worst to best, it'd go something like this. September, October, and August, tie. November, February, July, March, December, January, April, May, June. And when the best month of the year, what the best a year can offer is a 5 out of a 10, and barely that too, that's when you know you've lived through your worst year. But with that, my crash out is over. Deep breaths. I imagine all these rants make me sound like a total chud, especially me openly announcing my unemployed and stuck at home status, but I swear I'm not a total loser. Can a white boy just wallow in his own dread for once? That was the worst fucking laugh ever. What the hell was that, dude? So I guess the takeaway here is that this year was extremely crushing for me. I never thought that I would see a year worse than 2021, let alone a year that would make 2021 look good by comparison. So that got me thinking on how I would rank these years relative to each other. So the more time that passes, the more I realize that 2022 was low-key my silver age. Golden age obviously goes to every year before 2020, that's a given, but hey, I think that'd be too much to rank, so I'd say relative to this tier list, 2022 S tier, man, at least when compared to the others. I'm still kept up at night from the year review video of that year, when I was unsure on if it was fucking better or worse than 2021, because man, what was I on about? 2022 was fire as hell. I don't really have anything in A tier, so the next best thing is B, which is where I would slot 2024. I was luckily a bit more objective in that year review since I'd grown more, so 2024 wasn't a bad year at all. It was pretty decent, all things considered. It's too bad that its last few months got kind of tainted by proxy from this year in retrospect, but hey, at least the year itself was solid. Nothing in C tier, but D tier I would put both 2023 and 2020. 2023 was the year my lifelong family cat had passed away, and that year I also had a fallout with one of my former best friends, so obviously it's brought down for that reason. And 2020 is the year we moved from my childhood home into this new fuck-ass place that I'm stuck in. But note these two would be split into two, as the early halves of both years would be far, far above than the late halves, which brings both years way down. But regardless, next I have 2021 in the very obscure E tier. That year was plagued by arguments, upsets from moving still, and also I had like no friends, and even the better parts of the year were just decent at best, so it doesn't even like average out better. Anyways, all of that puts 2021 in E tier. Now, you might expect 2025 to be put in F tier, except that's where I would laugh you out of the room, because I went through the efforts of making an F minus, which is not where I would put 2025. See, that's where F minus minus comes in. Except, no, even that's too nice, which is why we have F minus 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 as an option. But wait, you expected it. That's still too nice, which is why I went on a journey, an adventure across the deepest forests, the highest mountains, and the coldest plains, all in search of the mythical G tier. But that still isn't enough. H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, and Z. All not enough. Until I finally reach it. Finally, the tier I needed. Next time, won't you sing with me? So finally, after all of that, I can house 2025 under its tier and send it off. And I can finally do it.
Degrade either way. Alright guys, job finished.